She said, "I'm fine," 4 separate times in 1 week, to her mother on the phone, to her best friend over coffee, to her doctor during a checkup, and to her own reflection in the bathroom mirror right before she sat down on the edge of the tub and cried for 20 minutes alone, telling absolutely no one. This is not honesty. This is a survival skill so old she doesn't remember learning it, so automatic she no longer recognizes it as a lie. Her name is Claire. Growing up, Claire's house wasn't cruel. It was something quieter and emotionally closed. Her parents loved her in their way, but big feelings made them visibly uncomfortable. When Claire cried as a child, her father would say, not unkindly, "Come on now, there's nothing to cry about." When she was anxious about school, her mother would redirect the conversation to something practical, homework, chores, the next task, rather than sitting in the anxiety with her. Claire learned the way children learn everything without a single direct lesson. Difficult emotions make people uncomfortable, and the fastest way to restore comfort in the room is to say, "You're fine." By the time she was 12, "I'm fine" wasn't a lie to her yet. It was simply the correct answer, the one that kept the peace, the one that made the worried look on her mother's face go away fastest. Psychologists have a term for what happened to Claire: emotional suppression. Learn it early and reinforced consistently. What starts as a coping strategy for a specific household eventually generalizes into a person's entire operating system. Claire grew into an adult who was, by all appearances, remarkably composed. Friends called her the strong one. Co-workers relied on her steadiness during crises. And underneath all of it, Claire was privately drowning on a fairly regular basis, and had gotten so good at hiding it that she'd started hiding it from herself, too. This is the part researchers who study emotional suppression emphasize most. It isn't free. Suppressing emotion doesn't make the emotion disappear, it just relocates it into the body in the form of tension, fatigue, digestive issues, and a chronic low hum of anxiety with no clear source. Studies on habitual emotional suppression link it to increased stress hormone activity because the body still registers the distress even when the face and voice have been trained to deny it exists. The moment that finally cracked Claire's mask happened, of all places, in a doctor's office. She'd been having unexplained chest tightness and fatigue for months. Tests came back clear. Nothing physically wrong. Her doctor, a perceptive woman near retirement, looked at Claire for a long moment and asked gently, "How are things going, really?" Claire opened her mouth to say the automatic word, "Fine," and instead, unexpectedly, she started to cry. She hadn't planned it. She hadn't even known consciously that there was this much underneath the surface. What came out, once it started, was 2 years of quiet grief, overwhelm, and loneliness she had told absolutely no one about, because she had gotten so skilled at fine that she'd stopped noticing she was drowning in real time. If you've ever said "I'm fine" while falling apart on the inside, hit that like button right now. This story is for you. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe, because every week we go inside a different hidden pattern of the mind. Research into emotional suppression shows this pattern is rarely about dishonesty, it's about safety. People who habitually hide distress often learned, early and clearly, that expressing difficult emotions led to discomfort, dismissal, or being labeled too much. The nervous system adapts by preemptively shutting the door before anyone else has a chance to close it on them. Clinicians sometimes call this smiling depression or high-functioning distress, a state where a person meets every external obligation while internally struggling, often for years, without anyone around them noticing anything is wrong. The danger isn't just emotional. Chronic suppression is associated with poorer physical health outcomes over time, precisely because the body keeps the score even when the mouth says something different. "I'm fine" isn't a report on reality. It's often a reflex built to protect a relationship, a reputation, or a childhood piece that once depended on it. Claire's healing began with something deceptively small. She started answering, "How are you?" with one honest sentence, even a mild one, before defaulting to "fine." Instead of "fine," she'd try "honestly, kind of tired, but okay." It felt uncomfortably exposed the first few times. Nobody recoiled. Nobody thought less of her. If anything, people softened toward her in a way "fine" had never once produced. In therapy, Claire started practicing naming emotions accurately, out loud in the room, a skill she realized she'd simply never been taught. She began telling a small circle of trusted people the truth, in low doses at first, and discovering slowly that the world did not end when she stopped performing okayness for other people's comfort. If "I'm fine" is your automatic answer, even when it isn't remotely true, understand this. You likely learned that phrase as a form of protection a long time ago in a room where honesty felt unsafe or unwelcome. It kept you safe then. It may be quietly costing you now. You don't owe everyone your whole truth, but you deserve at least a few people and a few moments where you don't have to perform fine at all. If this story reached you, hit like, tell us in the comments the last time you said fine when you weren't, and subscribe so you catch next week's story. We'll see you in the next one.